Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Browns postgame show. And what was it? 39 38. Is that what the score was?
Yep, that is indeed.
And with me is David Talevsky and all our friends in the chat room. I'll say it, when there's uh, the 900-pound gorilla that's standing in the middle of the room, that game was fixed. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. But, I got to call it equally when it happens to us and when it happens to the other team. They got screwed. It wasn't a nail biter, Gemini. They handed us the final touchdown, and Stefanski tried not to get in. I mean, the first one was, in fact, a holding call that was committed against Amari Cooper because he did a double move and the guy held him. The last one's not a catchable ball. There's no way that ball gets put down on the one for pass interference. No way. Sorry. You know what's weird, Robert? It was the look on the face of Steichen, the head coach of the Colts. He had this oh fuck look on his face, realizing that he's below Cleveland on the ladder. On the NFL get screwed ladder, he's below, downhill or uphill, depending on how you look at it, from the Browns. If I were him, I'd get the hell out of there. There's no respect whatsoever for the Indianapolis Colts. It was
they don't
shameful.
like
Just shameful.
Yeah, they don't like Ursay. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just shameful. And honest to God, I would be overjoyed saying, "Oh, we won." But the bottom line is that I hate it when they take it from us. And I hate it when they hand it to us. You know something? That's a call that goes against us all the time, Keith. And if it doesn't interfere with his ability to catch the ball, then it's defensive holding and it's halfway to the goal line or whatever. But no, sorry. We got Hammer Time in there with us as well. Hi, Hammer Time.
Oh, God. Well, my heart rate is still elevated.
Oh, yeah. Do you know that this whole game, I had my pulse oximeter because the spinal problem I have feeds off of hyperventilation. So I was measuring, I'm serious. And when Stefanski would make a horrible call or PJ Walker would make a ridiculous play or whatever it was, or we gave up a long touchdown pass to a guy because we forgot how to tackle, whatever it was, I would put the pulse oximeter on. Last week, if you remember, when I couldn't really do a show properly, my pulse rate, to put it into perspective, was 123 measured.
Oh, that's like working out.
Not good.
No.
All right.
Bad.
During the course of this game, I had accepted the fact that the Browns were going to lose after the long pass. And my respiration, my pulse rate was at 76, 77. Normally for me, it's around 65 to 70. As soon as it started to look like they were gifting us the game, and then I was sitting there waiting for Stefanski to make another incredibly bad shovel pass call where PJ Walker throws the ball into the face mask of David Njoku, who's not ready for it. My pulse rate went up to 98 to 100, and I said, this sucks. It isn't watching the game. It's watching Kevin Stefanski call plays. He is a mongoloid idiot. I mean, I know.
And two of those big, huge plays were offside penalties on Garrett, and then everybody seemed to stop. It's like, you got to keep playing, guys. You're all professionals. You know this. Now, there was a busted coverage one, and that was a huge play as well. And then the bad tackle, but still, oh my gosh. I'm glad that your heart rate, hopefully it's back down to a more manageable 70
Yeah,
something.
I'm having a lot of shoulder blade pain, and this is all part of a spinal condition. But it's so easy when you have pain up there because it's when you're breathing in, it affects the nerves that affect the diaphragm. And I'll be chilling out here, but I'm happy. I actually didn't watch the game laying down. I didn't use the chair I usually use. I used this chair that I'm sitting in right now, heated my back, and had the pulse oximeter on. That's how I handled it. And I see Bronk is trying to get in. Hi, Bronk. How are you?
Oh, God. I made the mistake of forcing the entire family to watch this game on the big TV. And then
Yeah.
just like, and after, like you said, I calmed down when I was reconciled to the fact that we were going to lose this game and we deserved to lose this game.
Yes, absolutely.
But then we got the game. They did everything they could to hand the game to us, and Stefanski didn't want to take it. He fumbled the game.
Well, I mean, how about the third down pitch out that whizzed by 100 miles an hour by Jerome Ford?
And it was going to be a good play, actually. If you looked
It
at
was
it,
there.
was
It was
space,
there.
Yeah.
Jerome Ford's just a fucking idiot.
But no, Jerome Ford isn't the idiot. The
He
idiot is
wasn't
Kevin
ready for it.
Stefanski, because
Yeah.
the reason he's an idiot is because that ball whizzed by Jerome Ford so fast, he didn't get his hands up, right? And so you'd say,
Yeah.
fuck Jerome Ford, right? But then he repeats a shovel pass, and the same thing happens and hits Njoku in the face mask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't leave that up to PJ Walker to pitch that ball because he's nervous, he's skittish, and he just threw it as fast as he could on both occasions. And, that's what happens.
Yeah, it's Stefanski. It totally is 100% him.
And I get upset just mentioning his name.
Well, you know what? You know the big winners today? The big winners today are the international bookies because the Browns they lost to the spread but won the game. And that's probably
And
the
I'm sure
best
that-
outcome for the bookies.
And they covered the over, too, didn't they?
Yeah.
By like a mile.
They covered the over. So I was saying it was going to be like a 19-18 Browns win.
That's what
and they're
I
gonna
expected.
Piss off everything. Well, add 20 points to that to both teams, and it was 39-38.
Doggy Bones.
Result.
No, Kevin Stefanski is not even an offensive coordinator. He shouldn't be. He's dragging the whole team down. And without this just becoming a bitch session about Stefanski, I'm going to change my tune today.
Okay.
And I've had
Can we
enough
name
of
it?
I've had enough of Deshaun Watson. Had enough.
Yeah.
He's not ready to play football, and he shouldn't have been playing football. He's injured. He can't raise his arm. And the thing that's so ridiculous about this is that the announcers, are saying he's being examined in the tent for a head injury. And it's like, how much more misdirection could we be running in our offense to lie that way? Look at the play, and he tried to catch himself with his right arm. And it's exactly the same way that he injured this thing in the first place, is that he after the original hit, he planted his arm down on the ground
It wouldn't bang his head.
or to cushion his fall. And it's instinctive. And when that happened, that joint, forget about it. It went, and he's done.
He's done for the year, I think.
Well, I mean, I'm finished with him, period. He cost this organization so much. And I don't blame Deshaun Watson. I blame Jimmy Haslam.
Yeah.
And at this point, if I were the organization, I would just sit him. And you see, the problem that you have is that it's a no-win situation. You saw what happened if you play him hurt. You see what happens. And he can't throw the ball. I mean, all you had to do was see the first shot put to Ford in the game, and you realize that he can't throw the ball.
Yeah.
But the other side is, if you sit and let him rest, then it's 3 years that he hasn't played football.
Yeah.
And again, the 900-pound gorilla in the room is his body isn't ready to play football after 2 years off, and it will be mostly 3 years off. He's not the same player that he was, and he never will be.
Yeah.
And you pressure him and you hit him, and it's no different, than Kareem Hunt. We signed him at the last minute on our squad before the season started. And he's been beaten up ever since. His thighs hurt. Everything's hurt because working out in the gym is nothing like taking hits on a field.
Well, I mean, they didn't even sign Hunt until after the
Second
injury.
week.
Yeah.
It was.
Right.
It was. I mean, he was unemployed at this.
And he
going
wasn't
into the start
ready.
of the season.
So why would he be any more ready to play? And why would Deshaun Watson be any more ready to play after this?
It's just like the people are saying, why haven't somebody hired Colin Kaepernick? Colin Kaepernick can't play football anymore. He hasn't played football in years.
Nope.
Exactly.
It is now a political, a football political thing. There's no way that guy could play. I mean, this is not the way that the game plays,
PJ Walker doing his best for coming into this situation. Well, this situation is Cleveland because it says Cleveland on the door. And the fact of the matter is every quarterback who's ever come here ends up having to do his best coming into this situation. PJ Walker is not a professional quarterback. He will never be a professional quarterback. He doesn't have the calmness in the pocket. He doesn't have pocket awareness. He throws the ball way overthrows it. He has no touch on his throws. And the bottom line is that because the ownership group of this team decided to forfeit everything else that they had as far as backup quarterbacks are concerned, and give it all over to Deshaun Watson, who's clearly not ready and isn't going to be ready to play football. This is not good enough. PJ Walker isn't good enough.
No, and with this defense, if you had a Jacoby Brissett, you would win a lot more games than you're going to win with PJ Walker.
The defense was horrid today. I'll say that now.
Oh, yeah. This was their worst outing. I mean, 400 total yards of offense, something like that for the Colts.
And they were running the ball. They were taking it right at our defensive front, and that's not good.
Minshew had 305. And rushing wise, where's the rushing 168 yards between Taylor and Moss and Minshew on the two scrambles, Minshew having 2 touchdowns on the ground.
The Colts deserve to win the game.
Yeah.
That's as simple as that. They deserve to win the game.
Now, Radu, if Ford catches that fastball, he runs for a while. If the Queen had balls, she'd be king. I mean, we can come up with all kinds of possibilities. But the bottom line is leaving that into the hands of an inexperienced quarterback to make a timing play like that. I mean, this Stefanski is self-destructive. He was lucky to get away with the pitch that turned out to be a clever play when Harrison Bryant took the snap and pitched it last week to Kareem Hunt. Watch the play again. Harrison Ford fumbled it in his hand before he was able to get the pitch off. I mean, you're living dangerously. You're using, you know what it's like? It's like playing a game of chess and you're trying to use a pawn to cover space on the board and to move diagonally or, multiple spaces, it doesn't make sense. He just lives in dangerously. And that's too bad because eventually, it always comes back to bite us in the ass anyway. No, I'm not happy with this win. And, the real team, the Baltimore Ravens came out to play football today. The real.
They really came out.
The pretender, if you thought Freddie Mercury was the great pretender, well, the Cleveland Browns are a great pretender. Giving up, Gardner Minshew, when he wasn't pressured, anything he threw up, they were going to catch.
Oh, they did.
And when it was 3rd and 10 at the end of the game, he was going to give the ball back to the Cleveland Browns. I said, let him throw the ball down the field because anything he throws is going to be complete. But
Gold.
Nope. Didn't do it.
It's just and I mean, you could see from, like you said, that first throw that Watson had, he just didn't look comfortable at all out there.
No.
And I think
no
he was
business
trying.
being on the field.
I think he was trying to do it for the team type of thing, but yeah, they're going to have to sit him. And this is kind of what should happen with Mayfield back when he separated his shoulder. I mean, he should have been sat immediately, and he tried to play.
Well, let me ask you this, and this is a real simple question. We say this after the fact. We say, well, he's trying to do that for the team. But the organization had to know, looking at him throw the ball, that he was incapable of playing. Why wouldn't they have split the first team reps between him and Walker in the week running up?
Because your head coach is an idiot.
That's why.
I think you pretty much stated the case right there, Moo. There's no question that
makes no sense.
There's a major problem if you can't identify that. Yesterday watching the Ohio State game, and I'm calling plays out as things are happening, and I'm sitting next to these guys, and I look over and I go, look, we're fans, and I know exactly what they're going to do. Don't you think that people who are professionals at this job know it too? I mean, it's
correct. It's annoying, isn't it?
It's if we know who are just fans. Now, granted, we've been watching this sport for years and years, but if we know what's going to happen, don't you think the guys that get paid to do this, who have done it for years, who have actually played the game at that level, know exactly what's happening as well? I mean, good gosh. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, so what we did is we put PJ Walker on the field, and he was unprepared. And even if he's prepared, it ain't no great shakes, folks. No. It isn't Jacoby Brissett. It isn't Joshua Dobbs, okay?
No.
It's a step down from that. So this is what, so now this is what we're stuck with. And I just don't get it.
Can I just remind everybody of one fact, that PJ Walker was cut from the fucking Bears at the beginning of the year?
Well,
couldn't make the Bears.
Well, you say that, but the Bears won with their backup quarterback.
Yeah, I know.
They wouldn't have with Walker.
The guy from northern Southern Dakota won the game or whatever.
Directional Dakota?
Yeah, directional Western Northern Dakota.
Everything.
I mean, well, he was playing against Brian Hoyer too, who's like 0-12, is now 0-13 for his last 13 games. So I mean, we could be there. I mean,
the anti-Midas touch is everything you touch turns to shit, and that's Jimmy Haslam. Every decision that he makes impulsively turns out like the Deshaun Watson, like the Johnny Manziel thing, like all of them. That's a fact.
Manziel's rested. He's ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's well up there. He's ready to go.
Well, you know something, Daniel? The only reason we won the game was because we got some turnovers from the defense, right?
Yeah.
I hope people realize that. As bad a game as the defense played.
Got a touchdown?
What won the game was our fucking field goal kicker who was kicking 50-yard field goals at a pop, when last year we wouldn't be attempting 50-yard field goals because we knew that Cade York wasn't going to make it. So we would have had a lot of less points during the game because we would have gone on 4th and 4 on the 40-yard line and fumbled the ball on some crazy pitch out. So
I mean, Alistair, I'm not saying that it is Deshaun Watson's fault that he's hurt. It's the fault of the organization not taking into account that the man hadn't played football for 2 years and now he's injured and he's not recovering from the injury, and they're putting him out on the field anyway. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be 3 years at the rate this is going, and it's too late. The train has left the station, and they're into this guy for $250 million. It's a bad business decision, not for Deshaun Watson. Bad business decision by the Browns ownership. So don't get me wrong on this.
We got the Captain Obvious comment in the chat room from Henry there.
Well, I'm not even that far in the chat.
Dustin Hopkins was the the special teams player of the week last week. You think
he's gonna
you think he's got it back-to-back weeks here?
He's got to be the MVP.
He will make the Pro Bowl as
player.
a special teamer if he keeps this up. I mean, he definitely will. He will be kicking field goals with the flag football game.
Wow.
In Hawaii.
Myles Garrett was trying to make something happen because the offense couldn't. All right.
Yeah. He was
He made some big plays for us. Kareem Hunt is running back number one. Yeah, because Jerome Ford hurt his ankle. We don't have any update on that, but yeah, we got Keith Strong.
Well, running backs are kind of a dime a dozen, though, in the NFL. If you think about it, there are plenty of them out there. There's after those top level guys, there's a huge drop off, and they're all pretty much replaceable. Think of the great running backs the Patriots had during the Tom Brady era, and you're not going to come up. Yeah, you're not going to come up with a bunch of big names. They were all serviceable. They did enough stuff. They, whatever. So I'm sure there's some dude on a practice squad somewhere that's going to, get their chance to shine. And, the worst part about it is, Ford actually did look pretty good running the ball. I just wonder how his ankle is. But, with our luck, he's going to be out for 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's the way life goes. And, these are the questions you ask yourself.
Yeah.
Who made the call? Who made the call on Haslam? I mean, excuse me, on Watson. Who? Yeah. And it's just a bad situation.
That could definitely have been it. That could have been one of those. We need him to play. We paid him all this money. XYZ kind of
Yeah.
Because it's just. So going back to the Bears, Tyson.
The Bears.
Yeah, Tyson Bagent. Yeah. Went to Shepherd College.
Yeah, and he learned how to herd sheep there.
Yeah, they're the dogs, I think.
Is that
actually
he's somewhere in Scotland? What the hell?
Obviously, he's not that bad.
Well, he was playing the Raiders, so it was kind of like a bye week.
Denzel Ward hitting the head.
Well, you know what was funny? What was funny about it is how transparent Kevin Stefanski is. And I'll give you the great example. So we have no timeouts, right?
No timeouts.
The announcers are saying, PJ Walker has to throw this ball. He has to throw this ball. All right, there's 18 seconds left. There's no way to stop the clock. He has to throw this ball. 3rd down, right? So it doesn't work. It's 4th down. And I'm sitting there going, Stefanski's going to run the ball because it's 4th down and he doesn't have to worry about the clock anymore. Yeah. And that's the way this moron thinks. It's like, it's like, I knew what they were going to do before they did it. And for some reason, and he just slid over the goal line, and the Colts are like, "Oh, Tennessee."
Can I talk about the ship play that ended the half, where they threw the ball out of the end zone just to take off 7 seconds off of the clock? I mean, risking something horrible happening on that play.
Well, there were a few things. I mean, like I said in the halftime show. Was Gardner Minshew seeing a pass rush coming at him and going panicking and spiking the ball into the ground, which stopped the clock, which didn't make the Browns use their timeout. The Browns ended up with just enough timeouts to kick a 54-yard field goal at the end of the first half. That's all on the coach.
Yeah. And again, we wouldn't have done that without Dustin Hopkins, our hero and team MVP for the year. It's crazy.
Yeah, Henry, you'd look bad too if you couldn't raise your arm up here.
Yeah, I know.
It's
but that's required to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. Actually, being able to use your arm.
He didn't get hit on the play. He planted his hand on the ground to cushion his fall.
That's right.
And they rolled him out the opposite way to the left, which is not with his throwing arm, so that he would have to twist his body back so his arm would be in
Like, even
a
further
vulnerable
stretched.
position.
Yeah.
That's what you call really smart.
Uh,
I think he needs to shit, not sit, Wable, because he's irregular. I don't care about Deshaun Watson anymore. That ship has sailed. It's over.
yeah.
I don't want to see it because he's not up to playing.
Yeah.
And everybody hates him. Everybody's going to blame him. And it takes a Jimmy Haslam. What they say, it takes a village. That was Hillary Clinton. It takes a Haslam to
He's
end
deplorable.
this guy's career. That's what it takes. And you say he's a veteran quarterback. He's a veteran quarterback of the XFL. He never played shit. He never did anything.
He had 7 games for the Panthers?
Panthers,
Yeah,
the mighty
something like that.
Panthers.
3
He
and
had a better
4,
record
4
than
and
Baker
3,
did.
something. Yeah.
Good
So-
Lord.
God
Make it
almighty.
stop. We got Seattle next week away. Pray for the baby Jesus.
Well, Rocky Balboa. I mean, you've taken too many headshots, champ. What is he doing in practice that isn't translating? You're referring to Walker? He didn't practice. He didn't take reps. Hello? Yo, I didn't remember
Yo,
that.
hey,
He
dude.
did Jimmy punches, Well, I'll agree with this, though. God almighty, it's bad.
Wow.
I mean, this guy who's changing his name a lot, he was the NFL's best. 5 years is not short.
In a career of a running back, that's 1.5 careers.
Yeah, that's their college and pro career.
And
Yeah.
Denzel Ward, are we at 7 or 8 concussions now?
I don't know.
They said they took him away with a head injury.
Yeah.
But he came back.
Oh, did he?
He
He
came
came
back,
back.
yeah.
He came back and played.
All right.
So maybe he just had like had something.
Flashback of Vietnam.
Maybe he just had to. Maybe he had to
He
get
was
some
back on the
stitches or
Dulong
something.
Bridge, with Martin Sheen going.
And what can you say? 58 yards he kicked a field goal.
He's our man. We should start pimping some Dustin Hopkins jerseys, man.
This guy
He is God.
I'm never buying another Browns jersey unless it's a retired hero like Jim Brown or something like that. Because
Brown.
Anytime I buy one, they'll immediately
They all
start
go
to
to
suck.
shit.
It
It's
is.
like
It's unbelievable. This guy was a 50% kicker from 50 and beyond coming in to the Browns. And now he's like zoned in.
He's like kryptonite, man.
one, and you can't say that it was. They had the roof open at Lucas
Yeah, they did.
Oil.
Yeah, there
So,
was
so
you know,
there was
Double
definitely
P-
weather.
Don't say stuff that isn't true, Double P. Kevin Stefanski is dumb, but he's not dumb enough to say that.
Yeah.
Show me the money, Double P. Show me that he said that. Thank you. We don't
Yeah,
spread
he'd be fired.
we don't
he'd be
disseminate
fired if
that
he did that.
information.
Yeah.
You know who also, Bojorquez is another one. I'll tell you that the whole special teams crew. Bojorquez had another really good day.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that he's kind of an unsung hero with as bad as we play sometimes on offense about being able to kick that ball. So, and a great job holding it on the kicks. I mean, I'll tell you, I'm very happy with the two guys that we got, plus our long snapper as well. We don't seem to have problems.
Corey, and you will never learn how to spell this name. I mean, you know that it's Gwen Stefanski. That's what I'm going to start calling him now, because there's no doubt that he's going to make the wrong call.
And underneath it all, there's just spider webs everywhere. And
he's not a hollerback coach, is he?
Oh boy.
Make it stop.
Hey, you know what? We won last week,
Ooh.
and we won this week.
Yes, we
You
did.
know what they call that?
A winning
It's
streak.
a winning streak, Brock.
Yep.
That's what you asked for last week.
You know what they finally showed on the graphics today? They showed that the Browns were 3-13 after a win. That popped up on one of the in the first half. 3-13.
So it
we
had
were after we
happened
win the
before,
game.
is what you're saying.
It had happened before 3 times out of 16.
So there is a chance.
is a chance.
You're saying there's a chance.
Now, a 3-game winning streak. My God, we might all have angina if that happens.
God. And that's what Deshaun Watson, when he was on the massage table, was hoping for a little angina.
Yeah.
Ba-dum-bum.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, we get to watch the in the late game. We actually have 2 of them here in Columbus, and one of them is the Steelers and the Rams. And so after the Browns and Colts put up 70 plus points,
I'm looking at this right now.
Knotted at 3, and Kenny Pickett is going the wrong direction.
6 of 12 for 78 yards, and you know something? They'll win anyway because Tomlin gives them a chance to win.
Oh, you know the other reason why the Steelers are going to win? I was watching NFL Network, and all the assholes on that channel all picked the Rams to win. So I said, "Oh, it's fucking Steeler lock."
Oh, they're going to get him for grounding. It looks like.
Who, Pickett?
Yeah, he didn't get it past the line. Wasn't outside the tackle box.
I think Moo, you can do a Peter Alice for the Indianapolis Colts coach.
His name is Steichen. But he's stinking. The smell is
the
hideous.
NFL doesn't like him.
Yeah, I mean, the look on his face was like the big smelling a turd, realizing that they actually put their money on Cleveland to win the game.
Yep. They fucked them at the drive-through. They fucked them at the drive-through.
Unbelievable.
I mean, if that had happened in Browns Stadium back in the good old days, there would have been a riot. If the Browns lost the way the Colts lost today, there would have been an absolute bottle gate. It would have been fucking mayhem.
They were showing pictures of people drinking beer out of those aluminum bottles. Man, the field would have been covered with them in Cleveland. Yeah, it would have been really bad. Especially, it probably would have happened right when they had the pass interference call.
David, are you telling the truth?
Yes, this is right from him.
Are you shitting me?
No,
yes.
No way.
Let's see if Mary Kay Cabbagehead has anything on this.
Stop.
I never lied to you, Moo. Believe me. This is directly from
I know. But I'm getting some falsehoods in the chat room, and I'm trying to keep up with what's what.
Oh, no. Mary Kay Cabbagehead has Browns. Kevin Stefanski says Deshaun Watson will start versus Seahawks next week.
Are you sure he didn't say fart?
Let's see the audio. I can't hear this.
Yeah, what he said was quoted in the chat room properly. He's there to protect his players, and he didn't like the way it wasn't a head injury, but he decided not to put him back on the field, which he'll do again next week.
Yeah, he'll get killed next week.
You know, it's interesting. Ward has had more head injuries than Deshaun Watson. Think about it.
He has.
Just think about it.
Evidently, it wasn't that bad because he wound up finishing the game.
Oh, God.
So Dan LeBay or Labby or whatever, I don't know how you pronounce his name because I don't know Labby. Yeah, he said we'll never get back all those hours we spent talking about Cade York. That is a great tweet. That is a great tweet.
More trying to justify something that was unjustifiable to begin with.
Cade who?
Cade York. Wow.
So, is that a new breed of Yorkshire Terrier?
I don't know.
God Almighty.
Man. Yeah, and if it was up to Kevin Stefanski, we'd still have Joe Woods and Cade York.
Yeah,
so that's another one. There's
Yeah.
some good ones here. Yeah, this is. But oh wait, so and then Greg Brenda, which this is a beautiful one. He comes in and he goes, "Best thing that happened to Browns since trading camp, not training, was started was Cade York's inconsistency in the preseason. It forced the team, its hand. Anthony Hopkins is the real deal. Oh yes." With some fava beans and a nice
remains of the day. You know, at the remain of the day. I mean, that's right.
Oh,
Somebody should tell that old meatball to hang it up if he can't get names right.
I know he was excited. Okay, you know, the heart. I'm sure his pacemaker kicked in at some point in time and told it to slow down his heart rate a little.
Yeah, and this is what I saw.
Oh, going into the 10th,
and I'll have to take the comment down, but this is my impression of Deshaun Watson celebrating. Thank you. He couldn't lift his arm over his head. Why are they asking Stefanski? Why did you put him back in? And it looked like a guy with a partial appendage with Parkinson's disease. I don't know what it was all about.
Well, the sad thing for Watson is now he has to use his offhand for a wank. You know, he can't even do that.
He can't pay someone to do it.
Oh, not anymore.
And this will be that. Stefanski asked if Watson pushed back, and and the answer is no. The massage therapist did with his dick in her ass.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, Kevin.
And now we're getting more that he would have put Watson back in stone cold after an injury.
Yeah,
if Walker had suffered.
If Walker had been killed, like he nearly was on several occasions. Yeah. I'll
have a lot more to say about this tomorrow, but I'm going to finish this.
Go, huh?
Yeah, yep. I mean, I've spoken my piece tomorrow. There will be an aftermath show tomorrow at 5:00, and
I'll give you a funeral.
I'll give you some wisdom, I think, at that point. But thank you, Hammer. Thanks, Bronk. Thanks, David, and thank you, Double P, and thank you to everybody who supports the program. I do appreciate it. We'll be seeing you tomorrow. Until then,
Victory Monday. Woohoo!
Hasta la vista, Pastor Head.
Good night.